What's up, guys? We're gonna be watching some Nouriscio because yesterday I was watching him and he was on point. And then I saw that he put out this tweet where he's like, Stamper's really good, it rushes the dopamine in my head, and then he says something that I will not say because I don't know what YouTube allows, but um man, he's a filthy guy. He's a little bit freaky, but he was on point yesterday. And Stamper is just a weapon that if you're on point, it's absurdly strong. I think a lot of people have underestimated Stamper because in the West, we only really have like maybe one or two Stamper players that I can think of that are like, pretty dang good, high XP, very consistent, even remotely close to the level of Nouriscio. Uh, and then as far as Stampers go in Japan, like, I'm pretty sure it just is Nouriscio and like, maybe Soapy, but Soapy like plays a lot of other stuff too. Nouriscio is just quite literally the best at playing this like ultra aggressive, fast Stamper style and getting these high value kills in the enemy spawn. Like when I first started watching him in S3, because in S2 I knew he played, but he played Carbon. He was always just doing this insane style of gameplay in Turf War, where he would just be like pushing the enemy spawn with Liray and they'd be on Stamper and Dooley. And it was maybe some of the coolest Splatoon I've ever seen, especially in Splatoon 3. Also, this game's almost over, damn. But yeah, he's insane at this style, and he's just probably one of the best Turf War players. Like, I love watching this guy when he's on point. And I've seen him not on point as well, and it's still good. This weapon just requires a very high level of dedication and focus because a lot of these combos are ultra precise because you need to kill these players fast, and if you don't, you're gonna really suffer. And the end lag in between shots and burst bombs and managing all your like ink and all this stuff it's hard. So you have to be locked in. This game looks over. Yeah, a lot of people really underestimate Stamper. They're like, oh, it's like not worth learning and whatever, but he almost killed a pen while the pen knew he was gonna come out and was holding a like a full charge ready for him. So it's like he's in the enemy spawn just ravaging all of them. And we're gonna call this gun weak? I don't understand that one bit. I've been saying it's strong. It's just hard. Maybe it's not worth learning in a 52-gal environment, but like, come on, man. I think people for the most part don't understand this game. But that's a topic for another day. Nouriscio, though, I think he's pushing 3,400 XP in zones. Zones is probably the best mode to get for points, I think. At least for most weapons, because more people play zones, and that means there are more points in the system, basically. And also, it's not too hard to, like, win somewhat consistently in this mode. It's not like you might just get a bad streak in TC where the enemy team, like, gets a lot of momentum and, just nothing works out. Like, there's less momentum in zones, for sure. But yeah, so let's just talk about Stamper's kit a little bit of why I know it's so strong. And let's first start off with the main gun. So it shoots a long distance straight shot 70, which paints for itself, and it can run through the line very quickly. And also, it can shoot over ledges, it can melee, and that 70 combos with the 35 normal swing and a burst bomb. So there's so many combos you can do, and so many, like, melee into ledge camp, into all this kind of stuff that's very difficult to deal with, and pretty much no other weapon can do besides Wiper. But Wiper is, like, just a weaker version of Stamper in a lot of ways. Quicker but slower. Or quicker but weaker. And Stamper just has all of that, right? And that's incredibly strong. And Burst Bomb is probably one of the strongest subs in the game. It's an instant damage. And that combos off a lot of things, especially with the 60 and the 35. The 25, not as much, but that hurts. And if you take 25, You know, and you take one less shot from a dually, then your dually teammate's going to run in and get a kill with one less bullet, and that can be important. So the main weapon and the sub are ultra strong, and I think anyone would be hard pressed to debate on that. Now, where it actually is maybe a little bit weaker is Zipcaster. Because Zipcaster is hard. If you zip into the floor, if you zip into the wrong place, if you zip at the wrong time, you can easily die. However, if you're doing it at the right time and you're, you know, doing it the right way, it's still really good. It's avoidable on a lot of circumstances by the player, so it's a lot of misplaying by the enemy team if they're like constantly dying to the Zipcaster. But if there are a bunch of your teammates running around and you're zipcasting behind them, obviously that's probably not a misplay. You're just taking damage from multiple different areas and getting surrounded. Like, it's kind of like a dive comp in another kind of game. And also, like, it refreshes your ink. You can use it to, you know, shoot and then instantly zip at somebody who's in a bad position and just get around them. Like, I can't really imagine why people think Zipcaster is so bad on Stamper. Obviously on Stamper it's pretty much perfect. And on weapons like Octobrush it's even still good because you can just abuse that. Like look at how hard this is to deal with. There's no AoE, but he can still hit the burst bomb. As soon as they peek, they get insta'd. He's just moving from side to side. Oh my god, if he kills this guy, that's huge. Okay, wow. And the strafe speed is good too. Oh, this game is so over. He's cooking the enemy team. Yeah, I think people are trolling so hard when they say Stamper's bad. So hard. Look at the range, man. If he hit the 70 on the pen, he just kills that guy, like... Whew. People are trolling. It is totally worth learning. It's just... I wouldn't recommend this weapon to someone who is not as experienced at the game because you're not going to be able to use a lot of the things that it's really good at. But maybe you'll really enjoy it. And if you enjoy it, then it's definitely worth playing. That guy just lagging so hard he didn't die. The enemy Stamper. Ledge camping, using range to tap 35 on the guy flanking. He can play this long range corner because... Okay, now he's getting wrapped by the Viper. Oh yeah, dashes. Did I even mention dashes? That's powerful. Hello? We're calling Stamper weak? The paint is great as well. That's why this thing is so good in Turf War. Can't really keep this zone. Dude, their comp is weird though because the enemy has Mini and Pen and his team has Leader and Undercover and Decaf. Holy zombie swarm. Black Ops 2. Derice. Oh my god, dude. Wait, he's so locked in today? Damn. He's just being a nuisance on the side of the map because he knows he's controlling the whole bottom area. If anyone goes down there, he's just going to chase them. So he's sitting on the high ground. He's just letting his leader hold the full like mid and left. The leader is pretty aggressively positioned, so he just has to sit here. The enemy team doesn't even know he's here for sure. And then he instantly combos the guy as soon as he gets close. Loki, he should have zipped the pen. Yeah, I knew as soon as he was going for the mid guy, the front guy, that he was making a mistake, because you're obviously just going to get shot by the pen. And that's what I'm saying, is you do the zipcaster wrong, you zipcast the wrong guy, you do it at the wrong time, you just play it wrong. This looks pretty bad, yeah. Dove into enemy ink. But, obviously it's good. I'd be hard-pressed to believe he loses this game. So now he's going to push mid, because he has a timing. They're 3 down. And this looks pretty good. Ooh, he misses his burst, but the uncovered kills him anyway. All he has to do is just, like, live and just shoot, basically. The enemies are going to come down this choke point. He can just spray it. They were bombing it already. This Stamper is so laggy on the enemy team. Alright, let's find another game. Really want to find... I did see this one while I was watching. Ooh. Okay, let's just watch this one, dang. I don't know what's going on, but... Oh, what? He's already in the enemy spawn. Wow, he's 36-14, a bunch of wins in a row. Alright, he's... Not kidding when I said he was locked in. Looks like could be a good splash on the enemy team, not sure. Might be Reimaro, might not. I feel like balance is getting restored a little bit. I think people are kind of anticipating a 52 gal nerf, maybe, and they're not playing it as much, and it's not as frequent. This is very obvious that 52 is just ultra broken. Also, he's already in the enemy spawn 20 seconds in, and they full wiped. Delayed wipe, but still. Wow, you can do that on Stamper, and Stamper is weak. We are saying Stamper is weak. Yeah, that is Reimaro. I just knew it on the fit. Yeah, so this weapon just can get in so quickly and can basically pave its own path. You know, if he were to defend his right, great, it would have been much better so that his leader wouldn't have to like defend with his life and just have this really awkward circumstance. Let's go over that actually, because I think a lot of players make this mistake. Okay, so he respawns and he goes left, but he messes up pretty bad because, okay, so his leader is already holding left. And he should want to go mid. I understand wanting to go mid, but he should probably go the path that his leader is not, because his leader is holding this whole left and this whole middle area. Obviously, he doesn't know because there are no comms that the guy's going to go on right. So I can totally understand making this mistake. It's kind of an awkward situation. But look at his leader. So his leader does miss the shot. He gets right around the block. And instead of just turning like around and going back on a snipe and defending the duelies, defending his leader and helping his leader stay in the prime positioning, he dives because the timing is awkward. He obviously tries to kill it, and then he also doesn't kill this jump in time. It was a shield, it was a Umbrella shield anyway. But the game gets significantly worse. Like the leader dies, someone kills the guy that kills the leader, the duelies, but it's so much better just to protect your players as like as any weapon, but especially a midline, because diving in deep and just trying to exchange positioning is not nearly as good when you're in those losing spots. And I'll play with players in solo oftentimes that I'm just like, why are we so deep? Or maybe I'll be coaching someone and I'm like, why are you going so deep? Like, you're actually just... I like to call it inefficiency. I don't know what Japan calls it, but you're just basically taking these unfavorable trades and situations, and it doesn't help you. It makes the game state worse. And obviously, you don't want to make the game state worse if you're trying to win. So look for stuff like that in your own games. And if you're in my games, you're going to see that, I mean, hopefully... I had a guy tell me that I was carrying, and I was like, I don't even think I had that good of a KD. But it's literally just because I was like doing efficient things and taking away a lot of the attention from the enemy team, and you know, doing a lot in the small just efficiency things that I was just carrying the game. And then I watched the replay and I was like, oh yeah, like I am taking the attention away from 2 or 3 opponents, getting kills, getting good trades. I'm being back quickly. And Norishio is good at all of that as well. He's great at all of that. And honestly, just what he's the best at is just constantly shooting the enemy, because he has range, he has burst bomb, and he has zipcaster. So he's one of the most mobile weapons on the stage, if not the most mobile. He can throw a bomb. He can, you know, 70 someone across the stage over a ledge. He can zipcast quickly across the entire stage. So he has so much uptime. You can't really walk at him without taking damage. You can't sit back without him running at you. And that's a very high pressure, strong playstyle, especially if you're thinking competitive, where the other teammates are collapsing as well. You got to deal with him and his teammates at the same time. And even in solo, it's you know, in a higher elo game where his teammates are doing things, like, right, he gets a kill, he instantly zip casts, he's taking the attention away from the enemy team, he's distracting with his zip caster, then he comes back and one-shots the pen with a melee. I'm sure you guys can see what I'm talking about off that play. And he's just moving correctly, dashing to make sure he doesn't die. Raymar is trying to flank to paint the zone. His weapon paints too much, and his teammates also come back. Okay, maybe he was right on his tweet. He is kind of coming. I really want to find the specific game that I saw earlier. I think I saw 2 games. Where are they? I guess they were later in the hour because I didn't catch a stream until later. I don't think it was this one, but I'm down to watch it. Stamper versus Stamper. He instantly... Yeah, that's another thing that Japanese players do, and Norishio does very well specifically, is that right off the bat, Japanese players try to take as much positioning as quickly as possible. Because it makes no sense for a player like Norishio on Stamper to farm a Zipcaster. It doesn't make any sense at all. And his weapon is also extremely quick and good at painting himself into mid. So he's going to take that positioning as quickly as possible. And with that mid positioning, his weapon is also good at killing you very quickly with a combo. And even just... Wow. Wow, that was nasty. And even just, like, pressuring you, right? So that kind of kill is huge because he pushes the enemy team back further. He's going to jump with Cooler back up and then just fight with his teammates. He wants to make sure nobody gets out of mid. I think that's the most important thing. It's more important than getting kills in their base, is making sure they don't even get to mid. Because you're trying to protect the territory. I got to see this video. So Pika Dave put this video out where he's talking about the like map control in Splatoon. And he's basically just saying, go watch this video that I've never seen before, but it was a good way of describing how the way the game should be played, of like, you're fighting for territory and some kills are worth more than others. And of course, I know this stuff, but it's interesting to see like the way Japan frames it, and also they have pretty good graphics in the video. I'll link it in the description, actually. I even sent it to my friends, and like, it's for sure worth watching if you're trying to get better. But Norishio is good at that because he's used to Turf War, actually, and I think that's where Turf War basically plays in that style of fighting for territory as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible, but also there's no objective to be played in that mode, so you are quite literally fighting for territory in the most basic way. Oh, this is nice. I thought he would dash on the block, but he doesn't dash the Forge, and he probably didn't get beamed for that. That's pretty nice. He didn't greed, basically. Gonna grab the Cooler. And that Burst Bomb just paints so cleanly. Burst Bomb is... This weapon truly has the perfect kit. For it, at least. He's behind them, so this is just horribly inconvenient for the enemies, because, yep, he's just gonna go high ground. The pen jumps back. Oh. Wow. That was so cool. Let's watch that again. So he crosses with the 10 shield. The pen drops because the pen's just scared. And he doesn't give up the positioning. He stays the high ground because he knows it's a stronger positioning than chasing and maybe getting a kill. Maybe just getting shot down really quick by the junior even. And then he goes for extra positioning. He goes to a position where he can rotate and be, you know, looking at the zone, painting the zone, pressuring the top truck. He can reach all of this with Stamper. Then he shoots them down below. And this is the coolest part of the play, because most players, including myself, would be like, all right, I'm dropping, this looks bad, I'm getting sprayed out by a Forge and a pen, these weapons are beam, if they both hit one shot, I'm going to die instantly. And also, you're standing in enemy ink right away, so it's like burst drop. That's probably what I would do. But he literally goes to this ledge, jukes over here, and is ready to fight. So it's like, I'm not going to drop, I'm going to continue to fight and just mechanically diff you with like some intelligent outplay. And that's something Japanese players, especially mobility weapons, are really good at if they can get away with it. It obviously has to do with some sort of misplay from the enemy team, like if they just didn't hit their shots. But if you get away with that kind of stuff, and Norishio has learned to get away because he practices this stuff all the time. He will basically kill himself and throw games and make them difficult because he's practicing them, honestly. I think if he dropped, he probably would have just won the game because all he would have to do is shoot and spray and just be annoying. I mean, maybe it wasn't the best play, actually, but he is so good at doing that kind of stuff that, like, and he just continues to practice it. It just becomes second nature for him. And then when he does actually need to do it, he can. I think that's the most impressive thing. He probably shouldn't do it all the time because there are plenty of times where he'll throw the game, make it more difficult. But I think you guys get the point. Game's starting to get a little worse, but this up to... Oh, what? That was a no-reg? It's just that uptime. So let's pay attention to that as well. So he jumps in instantly. He sees this guy. He's charging his slash. He dashes immediately. So he's basically jumping deep. You know, deep as he realistically can because he doesn't want to jump to the guy in the back right. Instantly finding somebody to fight and using his range and his instant burst bombs to pressure them. He hits this guy 95, hits this guy with a burst again. It doesn't register because it's online, and burst bombs have weird registration at times. And then he instantly is going to fight. And he's doing such a good job at it because he's fighting and living and getting himself into this insane positioning. So he grabs the cooler, shoots a 70 straight down. He's playing the wall. He's going to use his range to just shoot and dash. He looked like he was trying to hit the pen. He drops because he knows he's going to be unsafe because the pen's going to shoot him from the high ground, and he would very unlikely be able to kill him, especially because he missed his shot. So it's not like he's going to go for the burst bomb combo immediately after. And you got to understand, he's deciding this immediately. Then he drops. He goes up here. He knows the pen's probably not going to be shooting him because he's doing this so quickly. He misses his 70, but he finds himself with his dash moving to this positioning because the dash and lag is so low. So then he gets to this position, and now he's in the perfect position that he's really looking for. He's looking for a ledge because he can use his sword to ledge camp. And he kills this junior without much difficulty. He only dies to another player wrapping. But he's taking so much attention from the enemy team and putting so much pressure on, it's really impressive. Now he's zipping. This zip is pretty awkward. Ooh, that was a nice zip. Like, he's always killing a player while getting another player to look at him. How did they cap the zone? What? How did the enemies cap? Instantly jumping in, instantly finding a kill. You obviously know he's going to kill that before that even happens. Comes back to the zone to defend as leader. He's frying. He is frying the enemy team. He actually is coming. You can literally hear it in the mic. It's so crazy. Alright, what else we got? I know there's a game where, like, he's playing... Did I miss it? I know there's a game that he's playing against a pretty good enemy team and just doing crazy things. And I really want to find it, but... maybe it's at the beginning. Maybe it was at the start. Actually, it was this game. Okay, so the beginning doesn't go that great. Nice melee, but, you know, he trades, so not amazing. Not necessarily a good or bad trade. The enemy team does have the zone, but because he's coolered and he swims faster than that guy jumps, just barely, it's kind of even. And also, it's not like his team is waiting for his special, because his special is not insane, but I think it's probably just better not to trade generally on retake if you can help it. I think some players misunderstand that because they're like, oh, I'm coolered, it's fine. but it's not really that fine. You'd rather not. Nice zip. Yeah, it's probably just the fact that your special, even on Zipcaster, is way stronger on the retake than trying to get a trade and not really, you know, moving the line. Especially when he's probably the best player in the lobby. I think Tiramisu is also in this game on Gluga. But I would say Norishio is probably slightly better than Tiramisu, especially because Gluga is not as good as Stamper, that's for sure. That's a pretty good trade for him because, you know, the Gluga dies, doesn't have Booyah yet. He's going to be back with his stealth jump. Nice burst bomb direct. That was huge. Enemy team looks like they might cap here, though. Yeah, Splash Wall dies pretty quickly to Stamper. Oh, this flank is beautiful. Just this beautiful mid-wrap with all this speed. So perfect. And he flanks both backliners. So where the Gluga in the front line has to come back, but is in this really awkward position where they're surrounded by a Stamper, a Pen, and even something else. That means Tiramisu is going to have a pretty difficult time doing anything. And that's going to even further reset, you know, the enemy retake. This looks pretty good. I'm going to go top right. Beautiful flank. Oh, misses that. Not really sure. I think that the Norishio's heavy died, basically, so that they weren't holding the zone efficiently enough. Tries to zip through the splash wall. That's pretty nice for Stamper that they can do that. It's definitely a strength of the Zipcaster, once again. Let's stop calling this thing weak. First bomb damage, so that guy has to back up, and now he can just zone the other players. Ooh, Tiramisu's doing a good job of pressuring with these walls, but like they're fighting pretty well. I do have to say that those fights are pretty cool. I really do wish Gluga was just a little bit better, so we could see Tiramisu enter some more tournaments with a nice combo. This game's over. Okay, I want to see the next one as well, because I know this one's good. These are the last, this will be the last game that we do, but I saw this one and I know it's nice. So, you know, there's a lot of paint spam and a lot of backline stuff, then it makes it kind of difficult for Norishio just to go at any time. So he's going to go when he sees Tiramisu a little bit extended, and he's going to have the Zipcaster so he can continue the play. Let's watch that again. So he's just sitting, being pretty patient, and then he sees Tiramisu in a position where he might be able to kill him, and he just zips at him because he's in a splash wall, and he knows he would be able to one-shot him if Tiramisu didn't move. Also, just because it's so fast, he doesn't die in it. I remember when S-Blast was meta, and Stamper was just a worst S-Blast, especially because you would just get your recall Booyah, and there would be nothing you can do. Especially when the Booyah was kind of cheap on that thing, it was pretty ridiculous. I felt bad for Norishio during that match. He literally picked up S-Blast and had a God Squad, but won the tournament after losing time and time again with Stamper. I wonder what comp Stamper really wants to play. Like, I know you want AoE, obviously, but I would love to see Stamper Dooley again. I think that's probably Dooley's best combo. Just not really sure what else you'd pair it with, because it's kind of like a fast, cool dive comp. Maybe bow, maybe heavy. Not really sure. So, Norishio's obviously trying to get in the enemy base, but there's just so much spray down. Like, you have heavy, you have pen, these weapons never stop shooting. The Gluga has Splashful, which you gotta deal with slowly, and Bucket's just a great zoning tool. So this game is very hard to actually find value in without getting sprayed down by two guys. It's a much slower game than Nershio wants to play, but he just doesn't have a choice. And as you can see from that very first time we were talking about defending on Mincemeat, you don't want that guy to cross. You'd rather just defend than attack. You don't want to attack in an unfavorable position because the game will just get worse for your team. No, he's... Ooh. Ooh. That guy lives? And he dies right before he zips. I find it crazy that Tiramisu still uses Haunt. That ability is... I understand it. It just doesn't seem good enough in this game. They should buff it. It's a little bit sad. I guess he doesn't really feel like he needs anything else, but I would be hard-pressed to believe that... Ooh, free kill. Oh! Oh! Never mind. Yeah, I'd be hard-pressed to believe that Ink Resistance and maybe like a little bit of like Special Save or something would be better than Haunt. Maybe even Speed. I just feel like not having Ink Resistance every time I've ever tried it has been so insanely bad. That ability is just so worthwhile to use one sub of. And even Special Saver. Special Saver is good, guys. Especially when you're playing a QR zombie style, you will just get significantly more booyahs because you're timing. Alright, Tiramisu is just going off, and Narishu is actually just not having a good time in this game. Oh. And, dude, I bet you Tiramisu knew that Narishu was going to jump in. Can we see if he was watching it? He's booyahing right here. He's booyahing right here. You guys think he looked at the jump? I know Gray does that. I bet Tiramisu does. And then gets the free kill on a non-QR Norishio at 50 seconds in the game when Norishio is losing. And then he immediately goes back to pressure. Honestly, we should be watching Tiramisu this game. This is nice. He's destroying. He dies there, finally, because of the lack of mobility on the end of your Glugo roll. But he was coolered. If these specials don't get value, I think the game's over. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. That was kind of crazy. Alright, this heavy should not have dropped. Okay, the heavy lives, that's fine. I actually want Tiramisu to win this game. He's played so well. Alright, this might not be the game where they played... No, this is not the game where they played really well. Alright, this is not the last game. Dude, I have just lost track of what games I'm talking about here. I don't even know what I'm looking for anymore, guys. Yeah, I'm just completely lost at this point. The Tiramisu? Alright, we'll watch this last game, then we're done. I thought we were looking for another one. I think we already did the two that I wanted to see. Tiramisu's so cool, though. Definitely one of my favorite players of all time. I just really respect him for having like such a strong style and understanding of the game on something that nobody else plays. Nobody's seen any success with Gluga. And dualies are just cool, and his style with QR is just cool. I love the QR zombie style. I would love if it was stronger in this game. And also if Gluga was a little bit stronger. I can't imagine Cooler helps with the way that wants to play. Oh, this is over. GG's. Okay, well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the yapping session.